Fairfield, Connecticut, December 16, 1938. In the bathroom of a waterfront mansion, as federal marshals ring the doorbell downstairs, the president of one of America's great corporations, yachtsman, philanthropist, pillar of the exchange lists, puts a pistol to his head. Within hours, the fingerprint men do their routine work on the body. And the routine work explodes. The Prince of F. Donald Coster, Heidelberg-educated physician, blue blood president of the pharmaceutical giant McKesson Robbins, belonged to a man named Philip Musica, a twice-convicted swindler from the Lower East Side, a one-time police informer, a man who had officially not existed for nearly 20 years. The president of McKesson Robbins was an invented human being, worn like a suit for 13 years in the brightest spotlight American business offers. And inside the company he ran an entire division, warehouses, inventories, $18 million of assets, was invented too. This is the story of the impostor who fooled Wall Street, the auditors who certified a phantom, and the reason your accountant is now legally required to go look inside the warehouse. Philip Musica is born in Naples in 1877 and grows up over his father's grocery on New York's Lower East Side. The family's first fortune comes from importing Italian foodstuffs, and its first scandal comes the same way. In 1909, Philip and his father are caught bribing customs officials to underweigh their cheese imports. Philip takes the fall and serves a few months. He emerges with a lesson that will organize his entire life. Paper beats product. The cheese was real and got him caught. The documents were where the money lived. The next venture proves it. The United States Hair Company, trading in human hair for wigs, borrows hugely from banks against warehoused inventory and shipping invoices. In 1913 it collapses, and the banks discover the crates contain worthless barbershop sweepings. The invoices are fiction. The Musicas flee, are caught aboard a ship, Philip with cash sewn into his clothes. And this time he trades his way out. He becomes a prosecutor's informer, a professional witness, a man of a dozen names. Follow the names, because the names are the story. As William Johnson, he informs. As Frank Coster, he runs a Prohibition-era hair tonic company, Adelphi Pharmaceutical, whose real business is selling raw alcohol to bootleggers. And in 1920, Frank Coster quietly registers a birth. Frank Donald Coster, M.D., born Washington, D.C., 1884, physician, University of Heidelberg. Philip Musica, 43, becomes a 29, becomes a new man, 6 years younger, a Protestant, a doctor. The old convictions belong to someone else now. In this series full of forged bonds and forged banknotes, Musica forges the biggest document of all. A person. Dr. Coster's alcohol-flavored profits buy a respectable old drug firm, Girard and Company, and then, in 1926, the prize that still staggers. McKesson Robbins, a pharmaceutical house with a century of history, one of the proudest names in American medicine. The swindler from Mulberry Bend now presides over it, joins the right clubs, the ones that never see him, buys the Fairfield mansion, the yacht, and a listing on the New York Stock Exchange. And to be fair, hold this in mind, most of McKesson Robbins under Coster is real and well run. Real drugs, real warehouses, real profits. He even pioneers turning the company into a national distribution network that outlives everything. Like Kruger, like Insol, the fraud hides inside genuine competence. It always does. The invented part is called the Crude Drug Division, a business run for the company out of Canada that buys and sells raw pharmaceutical ingredients in bulk. It has suppliers. It has warehouses in Montreal. It has a bank, a shipping agent, insurance brokers, monthly statements, $18 million of inventory and receivables on the books. None of it exists. The suppliers, the warehouses, the bank, all of them are letterheads run from one office by the Musica family. Philip's 3 brothers, each living under his own invented name, mailing each other confirmations. When the auditors, Price Waterhouse, the most respected firm alive, request verification, the Phantom Division verifies itself, letterhead to letterhead. The auditor's certification, year after year, satisfactory. Because in 1938, the profession's rules did not require an auditor to physically inspect inventory. You confirmed the paper. Musica had known since the cheese, paper beats product. The fraud dies the way these frauds die. One stubborn insider does arithmetic. Julian Thompson, the company's own treasurer, notices through 1937 and 38 that the crude drug division, supposedly the company's most profitable arm, never actually sends cash home. Profits pile up on paper in Montreal. The division always needs its money working. $18 million that can be seen but never touched. Thompson pushes. Coster stalls, charms, reroutes. Thompson quietly asks the Phantom's bankers and brokers to verify holdings, and the answers dissolve under his fingers. In early December 1938, he confronts the board. Trading in McKesson stock is halted. The SEC, 4 years old, hungry, still smarting from Whitney, opens hearings. Coster is arrested at the mansion, fingerprinted, released on bail. And it is those routine prints, matched days later, that detonate the century's strangest headline: Coster is Musica. Reporters besiege Fairfield. His brother's aliases collapse one by one. And on December 16th, as marshals arrive to rearrest him, Dr. O.F. Donald Coster, Philip Musica, ends the impersonation in the bathroom mirror's full view. He leaves a note insisting he'd only ever borrowed against the Phantom assets to protect the company. As usual, an audit disagrees. Millions had flowed to the family over the years. The aftermath rewires a profession. McKesson and Robbins itself survives. The real parts were that solid, and its stockholders eventually recover much of the Phantom's value. But the question the whole country asks, what exactly do auditors do, if not this, cannot be survived unchanged. Within a year, the rules of American auditing are rewritten. Auditors must now physically observe inventory and independently confirm receivables, not accept the company's own paper about itself. Every stocktake you've ever seen an accountant attend, every confirmation letter mailed to a customer, descends from the Musica brothers' letterheads. McKesson Robbins is to auditing what a fatal crash is to aviation, the reason the checklist exists, and the man himself belongs in a special seat in our gallery. Ponzi forged returns. Rice forged authorization. Kreuger forged bonds. Musica went one recursion deeper and forged the forger, built a man whose reputation would never be questioned, then let the man do the lying. 13 years at the top of American business, undetected, because everyone verified the company, and no one verified the president. The playbook. What Philip Musica adds to the manual: Rule 1, paper beats product, until someone insists on touching the product. Be the fraud that never gets touched. Rule 2, identity is just another document, and it's the one nobody thinks to audit. Rule 3, hide the Phantom inside a healthy body. A company that's 90% real buys the last 10% its credibility. The paper empire ledger adds the Phantom division's plunder, call it 10 million siphoned across the years, and stands at roughly 361 million stolen, because money was never paper. It's belief wearing paper's clothes. Next time on Paper Empire, the most beloved man in Britain, publisher, patriot, member of parliament, the tribune of the common soldier, ran his country's victory celebrations straight into his own pocket and was destroyed by a single question asked in a courtroom by a man he'd ruined. The people's swindler, Horatio Bottomley, next. Subscribe.